Now then, welcome back to another episode on the Utopia³ server, the Resurrection. I've been a little busy down here today. I've just finished off around here. I'll show you what that goes to in a minute. Just been finishing off around here, sorting out all the block storage. This is like my construction area where I store my construction materials. So we've got factory blocks, and I chiseled one of each factory block in here in order to set a storage bus, which you can see just underneath the chest there. You can hardly see them, but you can just about reach it from in here and set the storage bus up to store factory blocks. And I've also got the factory blocks in there, which we can access like this to say factory blocks are stored there. And the same goes all the way round. That's the Tyrian blocks chiseled. There's the laboratory blocks chiseled, the three main ones that I like using. And there's the marble blocks chiseled with the blue power marble that can be chiseled into chiseled marble, which is cool. The carpenter's blocks did have a door there as well. I think that's set up on the thing actually. It should be set up on the thing to store it. Yep, we've got doors stored in there. And carpenter's blocks, and then we've got vegetation and decoration. And then we've got gravel and concrete and things. Pretty cool. Sand with sand things, made sandstone stuff in there as well. And then we've got limestone going in there, and stone things going in there, and cobblestone things going in there. Over this side as well, we've also got the nether items all stored away in a similar process. We've got a storage bus underneath storing things and blocks and stuff into the chest, and barrels of things, and we've got some potion components that you get from the nether and things like that, all stored away fairly nicely, fairly nice and neat. And you can't really tell that it's got an AE system on it, apart from there's an AE terminal just here for crafting, and that now has all sorts of things in. All the blocks that I've linked up are now available through the AE system for crafting and the like, which is good. I like. The way I've done that is downstairs. I'll show you that. Let's go down. Vroom. Move things around down here a little bit, but I'll get to that in a minute. Under here, let's show you this section. It's all the same as I've shown before, the little sub-network thing. We've got a storage bus into an interface. So the main system comes in, it's got a storage bus saying, oh yeah, this stuff around here, yeah, stuff stored. And that then links them all up, and a bit further down there there's another little link up, so a sub-network onto another sub-network does all those chests, and then we've got a little sub-network here that does these chests and barrels. And then round the back we've got another sub-network here that does those by the nether stuff. If I can just about see it. If you can just about see it. Just doing the nether stuff up there next to that little elevator block, which sends me up here. So all of that's now linked in nicely using little sub-networks. We have a teleporter pad as zoom down to the main AE system, and I've been doing lots of crafting monitors and controllers. We've got a crafting monitor, a co-processor, and two 1K crafting drives. 1K was all I could afford at this time because it's expensive to get up to like 16 and 64K. And with four of them doing 2K each with a co-processor, that's a fair amount of crafting available. We've got all this now set up in the floor. That looks pretty cool. I like this room. I like this room a lot. With energy coming in here into an energy converter, an energy acceptor into the AE system. And we've also got the world anchor set down and an elevator down into this room. This room is just basically linking off the controller, sending 32 channels on each of the cables out to different areas. So we've got the mob farm, which we've had set up, currently only using 16 channels, maybe a few more by the looks of it, including all its sub-networks, and everything is linked up off this line here. And I've got it so that these mob farms come from the Tesseract here, Nemgo mob farms, come into this Tesseract here, into a chest here, or a strong box, and then an item transfer node is sending the items out. We've got a filter inside there for filtering out the rubbish straight away. There's quite a lot of stuff in that filter. but they are also detailed on here for me as well, so I can duplicate it if I need to. Bows, enchanted bows, bows of any durability and bows of any enchantment get destroyed. Leather armor of any durability and any enchantment get destroyed. And we've also got this one, which is any gold armor and things. Any gold armor and things are currently being filtered out here to go down into a chest. Now, Akko does a thing with gold armor to repair it and convert it into gold. So this chest is basically a holding point. When I put an ender chest to wherever Akko wants it, then all of the gold armor and enchanted stuff will go straight to Akko, and Akko will process it. So everything from the mob farm will just go straight to Akko to be processed and turned into gold ingots. And then everything else just goes into an interface and goes into the applied energetic system. Nice and simple, really. Nice and simple. Means all of the mob farm stuff gets sent out then and put in its various storage locations. They got the tree farm set up with one as well. The tree farm is... yeah, you can't see it from down here. Tree farm's looking pretty cool. I'll show you that in a minute. I've got nothing in this quadrant yet of the 9x9. The 3x3 chunks. 3x3 chunks yet. The AE workshop, I've been using the AE workshop on the tanker to make all my stuff because that's a bit quicker and more set up. So I basically demolished my AE workshop, so that might not be an AE workshop again, ever. As you can see, there's no channels going to it, there's nothing happening there at the minute. The warehouse workshop has got a fair amount of channels on it, including, it goes over to this crafting over here. Each one of these has the ability to link to a crafting, and I could switch them over if I wanted as well. So the crafting area there is connected directly here, right? We've got the power plant, which currently doesn't have anything that it needs channels for at the minute, but it might need something in the future. And processing, which currently I don't use a lot of processing over here. I use it mostly by hand, so nothing automated set up yet over there. And the cookhouse. I've just been working on the cookhouse as well today. So it was my oldest son's 10th birthday yesterday, and we went out for a meal. And the day before that, we went out for a day out at some family and had a Sunday lunch with them. And yeah, I've had Food Baby 2 days on the trot now. Food Baby 2 days on the trot. But it has made me think about food. Food. Yeah, you know what a food baby is, don't you? Yeah? Maybe? Well, when you eat a lot and your belly gets a little bit more puffed out and you think, oh, I'm full up. That's a food baby. You've got a baby in your belly and it's all food. Yeah. There's... The AE system is all hooked up into this cookhouse as well. The cookhouse is this build that I did a while ago, and we had something set up for going into it, and it's been put off, and then we did the farms, and we did the villager trading area there. But me and Ego set up a load of chests in here just to store like all the Pam's Harvest Craft food and stuff. We were going to have farms and all sorts of stuff, farm it all, but then we just started eating pork, basically, and just constantly eating pork chops because it was nice and cheap and easy. But just because it's cheap and easy doesn't make it exactly what you want. Set up another 4 crafters up here. These ones I spent a little bit more time making and made a 4K, a 4K, and one with a code processor and 2 1Ks. I'm probably going to put code processors in each of them, but I couldn't afford it right there and then. And I'll probably upgrade all of the 1Ks to 4Ks eventually as well. But for right now, I've got the monitors in, which was nice, so I can see what it's trying to craft. And that's all linked up in there. There's cable facade, so they're all linked across like this. And then they come back and under here through cable facades as well into this, which is the main trunk area. Which has 2 channels on it at the minute. So those crafting terminals may be taking up channels, but they don't seem to be taking up too many. They should be taking up 4, and then should be another couple here with an interface and a crafting terminal. Got a few blank patterns. We're going to be doing something with auto crafting today. Because we did get all the Pam's Harvest Craft things made and sorted out, ready to make this into a cookhouse. And we were saving it. It was like, well, we don't really need to do it, but we'll save it so that we can do it sometime as an episode. Well, today is that day. Because I had my family meal on Sunday and then my son's birthday on Tuesday. My son's birthday on Monday, should I say. And now it's Tuesday. I haven't really had time to do a lot in order to prepare for an episode. So, we're going to use some of the stuff that I've previously prepared over here. Did a lot of bits and pieces off camera of stuff that you've already seen, stuff that there's no point showing you again. But now we're going to go and do some work, I'm trying to think of how to make this setup without just using the applied energistics to do everything. I mean, I could just set up a few of these and it could auto-craft all the food. And while that would be a cool idea, it would mean that this whole building would be nothing more. I wouldn't need anything else because I could just put it all in there. A little bit of a downside to applied energistics is that you can't fill out an area without it all being just applied energistics fill out. So builds like this go wasted. So I'm going to try and find a way to use this build up here instead of wasting it. And one thing that we've got is let's leave the Greg Tech stuff there for now. We've got a few different ways of making sandwiches, and they all require a cooking process. So I wanted to start off by using a steam oven in the cookhouse to be able to do the actual cooking and stuff. I've got to be careful though, because the applied energistics finishes here, or rather the chunk border finishes here. So I can't really use these two squares of the house because they're just outside the chunk border, which is a little annoying considering I'm about to use this section here for the stove and stuff. We've got like a fireplace boiler house down here and stuff like that. I think I'm going to put the boiler downstairs here and have some sort of rig set up to feed it with charcoal and water, and then have an oven in here. I think that's something that might work. I'm not sure if this is, yeah, this is stuff I can take out. That's good. Possibly take those out just to fill them back in later. So let's start off with a simple solid fuel boiler from Railcraft. And if it's going to be 3 tall, then maybe I want to do the boiler itself there, so it looks like it's set into the chimney stack, as it were. So I'm going to put an ender tank of water there, because we need to put water into it. I'm going to put a boiler up there and a boiler there. So that should now be a multi-block boiler structure. Let me see. Gimme, gimme. Gimme, gimme. It's become multi-block, isn't it? Come on. Be accessible. That's a solid fuel boiler firebox, and those are low pressure boiler tanks. I should be able to access it by now, shouldn't I? Maybe I need to do it slightly differently. Let's take it back down again. Let's put it together properly. Okay, so we put the firebox down, and then we will put that down, and then does it make the multi-block? Nope. Why not? Why not? I made one of these earlier. Well, I say earlier in the series for the workshop to power some of the main GregTech stuff. Why is this different? Why is this different? This one here. Let's go in at it from here, shall we? Can I pick this up? Yeah. We've got a boiler. Oh, it's only a single, I see. Yeah. To make it bigger, you've got to put extra on the bottom. I see, so 2 tanks makes it an illegal structure, as it were. Needs to be a 1 with a 1 on top, or not at all. So if we take this top one off here, then it should be a multi-block structure. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so that was my mistake there. If I wanted to widen it, I'd have to do a 2x2 structure. Yeah, I do. I get a lot of noise around here as well because of being next to the wall. Spiders come over, and just below me are the mob farms that are also always spawning. So I apologise for the noise. I'll turn it down a little bit. Right, so we've got the water pumping directly straight in, no problem. Let's now put some charcoal in there. The water is the important thing on one of these things. Is to make sure you've always got water in it before you try running it. Otherwise, it will blow up. Yep, and blowing up isn't a good thing. And let's pop that on there. Let's see. Yep, there we go. So now we've got charcoal and water going in there constantly. There's a constant flow of charcoal and water. The water should be an ever-present part of it. So we should never run out of water in the boiler. So the charcoal, if it runs out, will still come back into a water-filled steam boiler. And that will slowly get up some steam and build up the heat. And I should be able to take the steam out the top. I should be able to. And then we can put like a couple of blocks over these now to bring this into line to make it look good. Let's take that out of the way. There we go. And maybe put just a block there. There we go, something like that. And maybe a forged micro block. Let's see, have I got any? Yeah, I've got some on me. Let's use a forged micro block and block one of these off. Let's have 2 of those and put those one on each side there and on there, and that should even it out. Yep, now it looks like a little stove at the bottom, doesn't it? Yeah, a little bakery stove, but in actual fact it's the steam boiler. Okay, next up we need to make, so I need a crafting menu. Yeah, crafting menu, which is, well, this will do. I need water pipes or fluid pipes, something to take the steam away. We got pipes. There we go. What we got? We've got golden fluid pipes. I've got a wooden transfer pipe. Let's take the wood. I could actually do liquid, maybe. Yeah, maybe just do straight liquid with transfer pipes from extra utilities. I don't use the buildcraft pipes very much, because of potential that they overload and overdo it. I know that you can void things off and all that kind of stuff, but most of the time you prefer not to, don't you? You prefer to just have it working properly. So this has got, yeah, buckets of steam. It's got steam in it now. That's good. So that's ready for the next stage, which we're going to throw a couple of blocks down there that I don't need for anything. And we'll put a transfer pipe there coming up. And that should then work into a steam oven, which is a railcraft structure again, which is something like that. There we go. This steam oven then has steam in it already. Very good. Could potentially, now this is potential, bring that steam oven to the side and have more steam travelling up to a steam oven on the next floor as well. I think that's something that I want to do, because I want it to look nice in here as well as being a practical thing. Oh, good. Give me this. Thank you. Right, so if we go around the side here, maybe set it up like so. I don't want it crossing the boundary of the chunk if I can help it, though. Let's see. If I put that there and that there, and then have... I don't think I can pop it out through here. No, I can't. That's a no-no. That's already on the outside of the building there. So, yeah, it's going to have to be in the side here, isn't it? It's going to have to be, like, in the corner. Let's do it there, then. Right, there we go. So, we'll have the transfer pipes coming up the side here and up for the next floor. And we'll have the steam oven. Let's face it this way, shall we? Yeah, let's do it this way. Let's face it this way. Make it a multi-block. There we go. And now that will have steam flowing into it again, yes. And we can probably block these ones off as well. Maybe do something fancy blocks a bit later on. But at least we've got the steam oven in there now. That's good. So the next floor up, I could have another steam oven in the same sort of design. I might rearrange these a little bit because they don't look too pretty like this, do they? They don't look amazing. With them being so close together like that. They don't look very good. Fancy them up a bit, tart them up a little bit, make it look cool. And then of course we've got the chimney stack there to let all of the excess out, and we've got a little smoking block up there as well, just to add effect for the place. We got this like that. There we go. So we've got 2 steam ovens. Now I should be able to access the steam oven from here, yeah, and just cook the bread that I need. And it's mostly about sandwiches and bread and things like that. That this cookhouse is going to be cooking stuff. But I could also do raw meats, like, let's have a look at beef. Yeah, I've got a few stacks of beef. Let's get 9 stacks of beef. I think that's about right. And we can pop those in there and just start having them all cook at once. And the best thing about the steam oven, I think, is it cooks everything all in one go. It like steams the whole lot. It's just a big furnace that uses steam. And that little steam boiler down there should be infinite steam. So we're doing 9 at a time. That's right. Okay. So it's not like it's one off every square. It's 9 at a time it does, which is pretty awesome. Pretty quick as well, really. Quick and effective because it's all done off steam. So that's our first part. That's the boiler down here, which is going to be automatically filled, making steam all the time. And the steam's then going to be outputting up there to give us the cooking facilities. Next up then, we want to think about crafting some of the basic things that we're going to be using with this GregTech sandwiches. If we have a look at sandwiches, right, and sandwiches was just where I wanted to start, right? I wanted to make some auto-processing for making sandwiches. So the GregTech ones are this kind of bread kind of thing. And this sliced bread, this is just slices of cucumber, slices of tomato, slices of onion, sliced with the GregTech knife. So they're not too hard to make. The bread, though, is slicing bread with a knife to make 2 slices of bread. And then you use 2 slices of bread for the sandwich. So you're basically having to actually cut the bread open in order to make it into a crafting recipe. Which I think with the bread in these recipes, it sort of assumes that you're going to use the cutting board to cut the bread open and then put the peanut butter and jelly on to make a cranberry jelly sandwich. But with GregTech, no, you actually have to slice the bread with a knife as a process before you can use it. Which is kind of Greg, yeah. Making the bread, though, is requiring this bread dough in a bread shape. So the next thing to check out is dough, and this is where we've got to get the kind of automation going, and why we need those cookers to get the dough. So we've got dough which is bread shaped, we've got dough which is bun shaped, we've got dough which is baguette shaped, and we've just got normal dough. And we've also got flattened dough for making pizzas. Yeah! And I want to be able to make all these kind of doughs, but the first dough is either basic dough from GregTech or dough from Pam's Harvest Craft. The Pam's Harvest Craft dough is a mixing bowl, water, flour and salt. But there's GregTech flour and there's Pam's flour and there's Pam's salt and there's also a GregTech salt, which is there. And of course with GregTech it turns it into its GregTech version, so it's okay that the recipe's there to make this dough. The GregTech dough is just flour and water, makes dough. So slightly cheaper to make GregTech dough than it is to make that, because we've got to use salt for that. That dough, yeah. So I don't know why we've got 2 doughs in it really. Maybe GregTech can't change Pam's Harvest Craft completely, but water and flour makes dough. How do we make flour? Well, we grind down wheat, of course, in a mortar. Grind down wheat in a mortar, and we can also macerate wheat to make flour, or pulverize meat to make flour, and so on and so on. But all of those things take power. Grindstone takes me clicking it to make flour, and it's more realistic, but a pestle and mortar and wheat also work. So what the first thing I want to do is set up a crafting recipe. I think I've got a mortar in here. Yeah, I made a little flint mortar. So we've got a mortar in here, and we'll get some wheat. Yeah, not much wheat in the system right now. I'm going to have to still set up some sort of wheat farm. We've been doing it manually as much as we needed to. And that makes flour. There we go. And clear that, put the rest of that away. There we go, and put that away as well. Thank you. Okay, so we got wheat. The thing we do with dough to make wheat is... let's use the GregTech one again. We use the flour and the water, right? So we'll make that. So that's making the flour and water mix, yeah, to make the dough. And then from that, we use the 2 GregTech doughs, or 2 of any dough, to make a bread loaf. So we're going to have that. Let's put these in here, actually. get that started so that we can do that quickly. There we go. And we'll have dough. We'll craft us up, what, 10 dough, use some of it. There we go. The water bucket thing, I set up an automated water bucket process, didn't I? So now this is making dough, but the little water bucket process is in the other area to make water buckets from empty buckets. Remember I was showing you that? So I've got this ender chest connected up to a storage bus, and the storage bus is told to store empty buckets in there. So any empty buckets that return into the AE system will go back into here and get refilled into water buckets, which is good, which is good. So that is where we're getting the water from to make the dough balls. Now we've got our 10 dough balls. We're going to make a dough for a bread. So we're going to do that. Again, this is why I don't really need a whole building for it. Dough for this. We can just make it into a dough bap. Yes. And then dough for a baguette. We just need 3 for that. Okay. Let's set those up. Okay, so now this will process all of the baking or the making of bread doughs and things, right? And then what do we do with the dough once we've made it? Well, we cook it, I believe. So let's have a look at the uses of that. You smelt it to make bread. The uses of this, you smelt it to make buns. And the uses of this, you smelt it to make baguettes. Yes. And then you use the baguettes to cut them, and then you use the cut baguettes to add lots of sandwich fillers in, and it makes large sandwiches, large things. So, yeah, how am I going to get it in and out of the cook face here? How am I going to get it in and out of the steam oven? Well, I was thinking about how and why and all that kind of stuff. With the oven facing this way, I was thinking of having some sort of workbenches going across in and then powering into it. But I've got this side on the automation of it all. So I'm thinking along the lines that I'm just going to have like a storage bus area or a chest or something like that, that the dough gets placed into and then extracted out into there and then back into the chest again. Maybe. It would be nice to have some sort of automatic process for these steam ovens, but it's enough that it does such a good job. You've got to pipe things into it and take things out of it, and I'm trying to keep it all hidden. So the only real hidden spot I've got for automatic transfer is underneath the floorboards. So I'd have to take things out like this, like that, to be able to put import and output buses under there and then cover it over with facades. And that would mean that I've got to bring the whole floor out all the way across here. Probably be quicker if I had an axe. Let me get started here. Okay, so I will be back once I've rigged up the automation side of things, just to make sure that it can automatically make the bread as soon as it has got it, and then we can start thinking about the other sandwich fillings and things. Well then, I've made a few modifications. I had to do a few changes to the main system. Nothing spectacular, just a few things that I forgot. And we have a dark spot over there that I forgot about as well. I see the skelly. I see you. Oh, have it. Thank you. Oh, okay. So I must have a dark spot here. I thought I had carpenter's blocks with the right light level in. What's the light level here? Light level 13. They shouldn't be able to spawn here. It must be due to the cursed earth spawning them close by. I had a few in here that spawned just on the edges. Even though there were torches and things, they would still take the cursed earth and spawn just outside. I don't know if that's a thing with cursed earth. I thought things had to spawn on the cursed earth. But I had stuff in here spawning, and so I put some little nuggets here just to stop them, and this is the second time I've had something in here, and the light levels are pretty good. Effective light levels are above 12, 13 all the way round, because I've got lots of lighting in this room to give it a nice shiny clean butcher's feel to it. So I'm guessing they're spawning in there, or they're taking dark space from behind there somewhere. I'll figure that one out later. Anyway, I have made my first bacon sandwich. My first bacon sandwich. Best sandwich ever. I agree with Greg for once. Let's see how much we get off it. Now, a normal pork chop gives me about 4. A bacon sandwich gives me near enough everything. That is sweet. That is the best sandwich ever. Okay, so what we've done is I've put an import bus underneath this corner and an interface under this corner and run the cable straight across to the main trunking of the AE system. I still don't like that this is crossing over a chunk border. This chunk border here, I am not happy about it crossing the chunk border. I'm going to play around with it to try and move it around just a touch. Maybe take it back. Make it fully back out of the chunk. I did the same with that one up there. Maybe put it all the way back out the chunk and move the cables so they intersect with it. So the AE system isn't touching a multi-block and potentially loading that chunk when this chunk should be the only one loaded. I don't know what effect it's going to have on my gameplay yet. Multi-block structures over chunk borders with chunk loading and stuff. It's a grey area. Not anybody could tell me exactly what's going to go wrong. But something's bound to go wrong if I'm not careful. But I have some crafting in here, don't I? I've got all the way up to crafting the dough and making the bread to make sandwiches, and then in this interface down here I've got the cooking the dough into the sandwich, into the bread should I say, and all I need to add is a process, an actual crafting recipe really. Let's do a bacon sandwich. Let's craft up, there's a large bacon sandwich and there's bacon sandwich. Well I never. Let's craft that up. No, we can't. Okay. Let's craft the sliced bread up first. Yeah. Okay, sliced bread. Thank you. And then we'll make a couple of sliced bread if we can. Oh, we haven't got any bread in the system. Okay. And then we'll make a bacon sandwich. No. Okay. Let's just quickly make some sandwiches then. Let's have bread. We've got 2 bread there. Thank you. Give us a bread and give us that and give us a knife. Maybe that'll help. No? Oh man. It was all going so swimmingly, so well. Let's make a couple of pieces of bread here. There we go. Right, take that knife and then put that into there like so. That makes breads, which could be made into a sandwich. We're going to put a pork chop in as well and make that a bacon sandwich. Encode that, take that out, thank you. Clear that, throw the bread and the pork chops and the knife into there. And stick that as recipes in here. We'll cut the bread, make the bacon sandwich. I'm probably going to have another place to put the actual finished products and have real materials in an interface with a molecular assembler. And I'm probably going to move the molecular assembler off from here because it's not in keeping. I'm also going to be playing around with all the various Pam's Harvest Craft blocks. Even though a lot of these things I can just put in the AE system for the auto-processing, I'm going to see what else I can achieve and just make the place look like it's a bakery sandwich place with a butcher's underneath and a bread making place up here, making all the different foodstuffs, and just play around with it for a bit really, just have fun seeing what I can do with the AE system. Not because I need to, but because I like to. And that's the whole point of playing the game, is to do things that you enjoy doing. And I enjoy messing with AE to see what I can do with it. So thank you very much for watching another episode of Utopia³ the Resurrection. I am going to craft myself a bacon sandwich and hope that it works. Please craft me a bacon sandwich. I've even named one of these CPUs. There we go. Cookhouse crafting. Start. Thank you very much for watching. I will see you next episode.